Feel free to start however you like today. Eventually, we're going to end up on our backs, but if you prefer to start seated, that's fine too. Take a moment to set up your space. Maybe you're sitting up on something, maybe you're lying down with something under the knees or a little pillow under the head. Lengthen the spine, maybe you adjust slightly. If you're sitting, you can place the hands behind you and sort of tent the hands so it's just fingertips on the floor. And you can press down to try to lift the back ribs up, 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 and then try to keep all of that work as you slowly relax the arms into your lap. If you're lying on your back, maybe you take up a little more space, opening the arms a little wider, opening the feet a little wider. You can close the eyes or you can just gaze forwards. Let your gaze be soft, your eyes still. And as you inhale, can you send the breath into the back ribs? As you exhale, can you maintain that length in the front of the chest? Keep the jaw soft. Notice how each breath is a little bit different. Pay special attention to the end of the exhale, that split-second moment where you're empty of breath. Without gripping, maybe you extend that pause just a moment or two. We'll start with our 3 breaths together. When you're ready, let your exhale be deep and complete. Then inhale through the nose. Exhale, open mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Last time, inhale. Exhale, let it go, keeping the collarbones lifted. Let the lips touch. Maybe blink open the eyes. And if you're not on your back, make your way onto your back on the floor. And flex the feet so the toes face up towards the ceiling. Some of us can really, really straighten the knees. Can you press the legs down into the floor so that the heels stay down, the legs stay down, but the knees are straight? You might tuck the shoulders underneath you a little bit. As you inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. So they're in front of the face, palms face each other. If this is too much in the shoulder, you can skip this part. As you inhale, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Let the shoulders come away from the floor. And as you exhale, pull the shoulders down into the floor. Keep the elbows straight. Take one more like that. Inhale, shoulders peel away, the hands lift up. And exhale, lower the shoulders back down. Really press the shoulders into the floor. Maybe you feel the shoulder blades sort of flatten onto the back. Keep the elbows straight. Stay here if this feels okay. If you want to go further, inhale to reach the arms in line with the ears. Now they're reaching back behind you. I'm hitting a wall, so I'm going to hold the opposite elbows, but if you can keep the arms straight, keep the arms straight. Shoulders stay down onto the floor. You might feel a sort of depth in the armpit. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. Reach the arms away. Maybe the thumbs are touching the floor. Maybe they're moving in that direction. Reach the heels away. You're getting long, long, long through the body. And on your next inhale, use the hands, pull the right knee into the chest, give it a little squeeze. If this is a lot already, you can bend the left knee and plant the left foot on the floor. Maybe find some compression, pulling the knee into the belly. Hold the knee with the right hand, and as you inhale, open the knee out to the side. Stay here for a moment. You might bring the left hand to the left hip and press, moving the left hip and the right knee away from each other. As you inhale, bring the knee back to center, switch into the left hand and take a twist. You can lift that right hip up off the floor for the full twist, but if you want to stretch the outer hip instead, keep the right hip down and just let the knee cross as much as it can without lifting the hip. Keep the left leg strong, pressing down into the floor. You might look over the right shoulder. Take one slow breath here, soften the belly. And then inhale to bring the knee back to center. And we'll take the other side. Stretch the right leg. You can always plant the right foot on the floor. Pull the left knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze, maybe rock side to side. Can you balance keeping the right leg strong and straight, the foot flexed, as you pull the knee in? Again, if the right foot is planted, you're doing the same thing. You're pressing the foot down into the floor to keep that engagement in the right leg. Hold on with the left hand and open the left knee out to the left. Use the right hand on the right hip to encourage the knee and the opposite hip to move away from each other. Breathe here, noticing that exhale again. And when you're ready, we'll switch. Inhale the knee back to center, switch the hand, and exhale, cross the midline. Maybe you're taking the full twist and the hip lifts off the floor. Maybe you keep the hip down and just work on crossing the knee as far as you can. Keep that right leg engaged. Take one more breath. Maybe look over the left shoulder for your final breath. As you inhale, pull both knees into the chest. Give them a squeeze, maybe rock side to side. Massage the low back. Eventually find happy baby. You could hold the backs of the knees and flex the feet up towards the ceiling, knees generously bent. Here you're trying to get the knees close to the shoulders but you're also trying to touch the feet towards the ceiling. You're moving in two directions, two impossible directions. You might be holding the backs of the knees. If you want a little bit more, you could bring the elbows inside the knees and then reach for the ankles. Maybe even reach the outside edges of the feet. Again, you can rock here side to side. The baby would not take this very seriously. One more slow breath. Bring the knees back to center. And your choice, you can rock side to side. If it feels good, you can rock up and down on the spine. And eventually we're going to meet in a boat pose, believe it or not. So if you have the forwards and backwards, you can find some momentum and find yourself balancing on the hips. If you're rolling side to side, just roll off to one side and make your way there the way we normally do, which is from seated. Pulling the spine forwards through the chest, start to lean back until the toes float off the floor. Maybe you just balance here. Sometimes it's nice to flex the feet. Maybe you bring the knees and the ankles in the same line. You might release the hands, maybe not. As you inhale, can you breathe into the back ribs? As you exhale, lift the collarbones towards the chin. Widen the elbows, widen the collarbones. When you're over it, you're over it. Maybe you stay for one or two more breaths. And gently bring the feet down. And make your way to a tabletop, hands and knees. We do cat-cow almost every class as an introduction for the spine to start moving, especially since it's early for most of us. So see here, if you can try something new today. As you inhale, you're going to arch through the spine just as we usually do. And as you exhale, you'll round through the back. Can you add today that breath in the back and into the collarbone? So as you inhale, even though we're arching the spine, can you breathe into the low ribs? Maybe you don't arch as much. As you exhale, can you keep the collarbones wide? So this might not be as intense, I guess is the word. Might not be as big as the movement usually is for you. If the wrists are feeling sensitive, feel free to press the fists into the floor. And after your next exhale, use your inhale to come back to center to a neutral spine. And we're going to do little shoulder push-ups. So as you inhale, press the hands into the mat and widen the shoulder blades apart. So you're trying to press the arms out of the shoulders. And as you inhale, lower the elbow. Sorry, let me try this again. As you exhale, press the hands away into the floor. And as you inhale, pull the arms back into the shoulder sockets and let the upper chest melt forwards. So the arms stay straight. Exhale, press the hands away. And inhale, lower the chest down. So we're ejecting the arms away from the shoulders, and we're injecting the arms back into the shoulder sockets. If you want to make this harder, you can walk the knees back a little bit so you're in more of a plank position. Child's pose when you're ready. You can keep the hips lifted for puppy dog pose instead and come down onto the elbows. Otherwise, you can sink the hips all the way back towards the heels, maybe even bring the knees a little wider. Stay as long as you like. When you're ready, come back to a table. Inhale to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, open twist. And exhale, thread the right arm underneath you and rest the arm on the floor. Rest the right ear down. Thread the needle. That left hip likes to move forwards here. Can you press the left hip back? Maybe crawl the left fingertips forwards like downward facing dog. Maybe not. You can just keep it in front of the nose. Plant the left hand in front of the nose and inhale to sweep the right arm open. Exhale back to table. Other side, as you inhale, left arm out to the side, maybe up, and exhale, thread the needle. Bring the left arm all the way down, the left ear down. Can you relax the jaw, the muscles of the face? Maybe you move the right hand, maybe it stays where it is. Start to bring the right hand back in front of the nose. And inhale to sweep the left arm open. And exhale back to tabletop. Okay, forward fold. You can be at the front of the mat or the back of the mat. You might just tuck the toes and walk the hands back. Slowly lift yourself back. See if you can keep the head and neck really heavy as you move into a forward fold, standing somewhere on your mat. For this one, feet a little bit wider than your hips. Toes in, heels out, just a little bit, 5 degrees or so. You can bend the knees here, maybe hold opposite elbows. How heavy can you keep your upper body? There's a lot of weight in the head and the shoulders and the chest. Switch your grip on the elbows if you're holding elbows. You might shift the weight into the heels and then into the toes, back into the heels and into the toes. And then relax the arms down to the floor and inhale, slowly come up to stand one vertebra at a time, meeting in Tadasana, mountain pose. Okay, I did a new thing with my feet in Tadasana recently, so we're going to try it. Plant your feet where you want them for Tadasana. Plant the big toe ball mound down into the floor, and then lift the pinky side edge of the foot and stretch it as far as you can. Now keep the pinky toe ball mound down, lift the big toe, the inner arch, and stretch it inside as far as you can. Bring it back down. Now lift the heels and stretch them back as far as you can, maybe one at a time. This is especially good if you have big high arches. So lift the heel and sort of scoot it back. Spread the foot on the floor, lift the kneecaps. Reach the arms down, find your Tadasana. Inhaling into the back ribs. Exhale to lift the chest. One more here, shoulders back. As you inhale, maybe reach the arms up. Maybe you just pretend and lift the chest, look up. Exhale to forward fold, tipping from the hips. See if you can keep the legs strong, but if you need to bend the knees, that's okay. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, look up, maybe reach up. And exhale, lower the arms, gaze forward, Tadasana. Again, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Hold on to the right wrist if you have it. If your hands are down, then bring the hands to the hips and side bend towards the left. I'll mirror you. Come back to center. Inhale, switch your grip. Maybe the hands are still on the hips. Exhale, side bend towards the right. Inhale, back to center. Bring the arms down as you exhale. Hands come behind the back. Maybe hold opposite elbows. Maybe you clasp the hands. Inhale, take a back bend. Press the hands down towards the floor. Press the hips forwards. As you exhale, forward fold. You can keep the hands exactly as they are, or maybe they move away from the body. Stay for a breath. As you inhale, look forwards. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, Tadasana. Okay, sun salutations. Hopefully the feet haven't moved and they feel like they're glued down onto the mat. We're going to move them, so sorry, but here's how it goes. As you inhale, reach the arms up, or maybe just look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step the right foot back into a low lunge. Find length through the spine. Inhale, look forwards. And exhale to downward facing dog. You can skip this. You can do a different pose instead. Inhale to plank. Maybe knees come down. Exhale onto your belly. Take a back bend. Inhale, breathing into those back ribs, strong legs. And exhale back to either downward facing dog or child's pose. Maybe elbows and knees instead. We're just going to stay for 2 breaths here. Let your exhale be deep and complete. Wherever you are, maybe from table, maybe from down dog. Inhale to reach the right leg up and back. Maybe bend the knee and open the hip. As you exhale, step the right foot in between the hands. If the back knee is down, start to lift it up. I have a weird left foot, so I'm going to keep it down. Inhale, heart forward, look forward. As you exhale, make your way to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up, look up. Going right back down, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot back, lunge. Inhale, look forward, heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. Inhale to plank, keep looking forwards towards the horizon. As you exhale, elbows in, lower onto your belly. Baby cobra, inhale, take a back bend. Exhale, lower down and make your way back somewhere where the hips are higher than the head. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Feel free to move. Last breath here. As you inhale, left leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. When you're ready, exhale to step the foot forwards between the hands. You can use your hand to help. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, step to the top of the mat. Take as many little hops as you need to help yourself get up there. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, reach up, look up. Exhale, lower the arms, Tadasana. Okay, let's start with warrior one. So from the top of the mat, keep the left foot planted, should be facing straight forwards towards the front edge of the mat. Take a big step back with the right foot, your heels coming down on an angle. And I don't talk about this very often. So you don't want to be in heel to arch alignment. You want to be like you're wearing skis. So the left foot is on the left side of the middle of the mat, and the right foot is going to be on the right side of the middle of the mat. They're not all the way to the edge. They're not super wide apart, but they're about hip distance apart. Plant the outer right foot down. Bring the hands to the hips, maybe lean forwards a little bit, and then bend into the left knee. Inhale to straighten, and exhale to bend. Make sure that knee is stacking right on top of the ankle. As you bend, make sure that the right foot is not coming up off the floor. So the right foot is staying really heavy. The next time you bend, hold here. It's okay to lean forward still. Now imagine you could bring your hand, don't actually do it, but your hand is on your inner right thigh and it's pulling back behind you. It's trying to twist that right leg to come forwards. But then that outer foot is going to want to come up again. Can you keep it down? So the leg is moving in two directions. It's moving in from the hip. It's moving out from the foot. Keep that bend in the left knee. Hands can come to the hips. And as you inhale, tip the hips up so that you can bring the shoulders over the hips. So instead of just arching in the spine, the hips are lifting. Maybe thumbs to sternum. Maybe arms forward, palms up. Maybe you reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale into the back ribs. Exhale to lift the chest up out of the hips. One more like that. On your next exhale, either hands to hips or hands behind the back. If the hands are on the hips, move the elbows back a lot. If you're holding hands behind the back, inhale wherever you are, arch through the spine, lean back. And exhale, start to tip forward. See if you can bring your left shoulder towards the left knee without letting the left hip pop out towards the side. Keep spinning that right thigh in. The left hip moves in. We're in humble warrior. If you've clasped the hands, maybe you move the arms away from the back. Maybe not. We're only going to be here for one more breath. Plant down through the feet. As you inhale, slowly rise back up, warrior one. And then step to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Okay, let's do the other side. Plant down through the right foot. Make sure you're not going to move it. And then step back with that left foot. Back heel down on an angle. The hips are going to want to open because of how the feet are situated. So you're going to try to turn the legs. But as you do this, you're going to feel that left foot come up. So can you keep it down? Bend and straighten into the right knee a few times. Seeing how it feels when the knee is right on top of the ankle. Try to take a Polaroid picture in your mind of what does that feel like. And the next time you bend, hold here. Now keep that outer arch of the foot down. Talking about the left leg now. Left leg is what we can't see, so we tend to forget about it. Press down through the left foot. Roll the inner left thigh back. Press firmly into the heel. Lots of power in the back leg. Should have said this on the side. Lean forwards a little bit so that your hips are in line with the shoulders. And then use the hands on the hips like you're holding a bowl of water. Can you tip the bowl of water up so that the hips can stack over the shoulders? Other way around. Maybe thumbs to sternum, back leg strong. Maybe arms forward, palms up, injecting the arms back into the shoulder sockets. Maybe arms lift. 3 breaths, strong legs, pulling the thighs towards one another. Back leg stays really strong. Deep bend in the right knee. On your next exhale, bring the hands behind the back, maybe hands to hips, elbows back. I'll do it this way this time. Inhale, arch through the spine. And exhale, forward fold. Bringing that right shoulder closer to the right knee. If it's okay, let the head and neck go so that you're not holding all that tension in the neck. Sometimes that throws us off balance. If that's you, don't worry about it. You can look down towards the floor. Keep the right hip in. Take one more breath. As you inhale, slowly unwind back to warrior one. And then step to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Okay, let's move through a little sequence. Arms are going to be totally optional. You can keep your hands on your hips this entire sequence. When you're ready, shift the weight into the left foot. Super strong. We're going to come to a one leg Tadasana. So either hands on the hips or arms up towards the ceiling. Find your arms, find a place to gaze that's not moving. And then inhale to lift the right leg. Bending the knee, flex the foot. The more you flex the foot, the more control you have in that leg. At least in theory, placebo works. Inhale here. And exhale, step back to warrior one. We were just there. Bring the back heel down on an angle. Hopefully this feels familiar. Take a breath. On your next inhale, lift the back heel. Now you're in a crescent pose. It should be easier with the back heel lifted to pull the right hip forwards and bend into the left knee. Back thigh is going to be really strong. Crescent pose, Anjaneyasana. We're going to come to warrior three. I have a wall in front of me, so I'm going to bring my hands to my hips. You can do whatever you like. Lean forwards. Bring more weight into the left foot, become light on the right foot. Flex the right foot, maybe step it in a couple of steps, and then float the right foot off the floor so you're floating. It doesn't have to lift very much off the floor. Press down through the left foot, and when you're ready, inhale, pull the right knee into the chest, just like we did before. Try not to let it touch the floor. Tree pose. Open the right knee out to the side. Bring the inner arch of the foot to the inner seam of the left leg. I know we've been on this leg for a while. Don't push too far into the knee. You can lift up the foot as high as you like, or keep it as low as you like. It might just be toes on the floor. Either hands on the hips. Maybe you reach the arms wide or up towards the ceiling. Tree pose, Vrksasana. On your next exhale, lower the arms, lower the leg. Okay, other side. Shift the weight into the right foot. No expectation, sides will be different. Make sure that right foot is just like we set it up for warrior one, because that's where we're going to end up in a second. So your toes are pointing straight forwards. Your heel is right behind the toes. Toes are spread like Tadasana. Strong right leg. Any arms. Find your arms first so you don't have to worry about them. And then when you're ready, shift the weight into the right foot and inhale, lift the left leg. Keep that left foot flexed. Keep the inner right thigh rolling back. This is our one leg Tadasana. As you exhale, step back to warrior one with control. Back heel down, glued down to the floor. Hands can always come to the hips or thumbs to sternum. When you're ready, Anjaneyasana, back heel lifts up. Again, I have a weird back foot, so I'm going to stay here. Pull the left hip forward, right hip back, so you're squaring in the hips now. Start to lean forwards over that front foot. You can step the back foot in a couple of steps as you become light on the back foot. Flex the back foot so that the leg is really strong, and then lift into warrior three. Try to keep the right leg straight. Press the right foot down into the floor. I'm very close to the wall here. This is hilarious. You can take a couple of rounds, and when you're ready, inhale, pull the left knee into the chest. Try not to let it touch the floor. Open the left knee out to the side. Bring the foot into the leg. Tree pose. Just like when we were on the floor, and apologies, I should have said this on the last side. Bring one hand to the right hip, one hand to the left knee, and spread those two places away from each other. Then find your arms, whichever arm variation you had on the last side. Tree pose. Keep the standing leg strong. Keep the gaze steady. The more you look around, the more the brain wants you to fall out. When you're ready, slowly lower the arms, slowly lower the legs. Okay, final vinyasa. You can always skip this. When you're ready, inhale, reach the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plank, both feet step back. Maybe you lower down into Chaturanga, or maybe you just hold plank and do a little shoulder push-up like we did earlier. Inhale, take a back bend, maybe upward facing dog, maybe something else. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. If you're in down dog, it's our final down dog. If you're in child's pose, it's our final child's pose. Feel free to find a position that feels comfortable. Can you keep that depth in the armpits? For me, that requires an external rotation in the shoulders. So imagine I'm holding your outer shoulder and rolling it into the armpit. I don't know if that makes sense. Breathe here. Can you breathe into the low back? Can you exhale into the collarbones? When you're ready, we're going to meet in a comfortable seat for Paschimottanasana, for forward folds, seated forward folds. Find your way there. Move the flesh of the thighs out of the way. Stretch the legs long. You can keep the knees bent here. Prioritize a long spine rather than straight legs. You can even, like we did seated, you can bring the hands behind you, cupping the hands, just fingertips. And then as you inhale, lift the chest, press into the hands, lift the front, lift the back of the chest, keep that length, and gently release the hands. As you exhale, forward fold over the legs. Now hold on to wherever you can hold, maybe some fabric, maybe the ankles, maybe the feet, wherever. Maybe you let the head and neck go if that feels okay in the spine. As you inhale, can you breathe into those back ribs? And as you exhale, the collarbones reach towards the toes. Again, another impossible direction, an impossible feat. Slow down your breath. As you inhale, look towards the toes. As you exhale, lift the shoulders up over the hips. Okay, bend the knees out to the side, bring the bottoms of the feet together. And we're gonna get close today. So usually I say, who cares how far away the legs are? That's still true. But for today, you can scoot. You can bring your hands behind you and scoot the hips closer. You might lift the feet and bring them a little closer. See what feels interesting. And then again, bring the hands behind you and find that long spine. Press into the hands. See if you can, from the hips, tip the hips forwards and lengthen through the spine. And then harder now, can you keep that as you release one hand, keep that as you release both hands, bring the hands to the legs to sort of figure out a balance here. And maybe you stay here, trying to press the knees away from you, closer to the floor and away from the face. Maybe you fold forward, it's totally up to you. You can, if you're already feeling a lot of sensation, this is a really good place to just stay and hold in Baddha Konasana. Breathing into the low back ribs, letting the back lift up. Exhaling, lifting the chest towards the chin. When you're ready, use your hands to help the knees back together and slide the feet forwards. We're going to take a twist. So bring the right foot, cross it underneath the left leg, and try to tuck it next to your hip. The right knee might be lifted up a lot. That's okay. If you have a block or a pillow, you can bring something under the leg so that it's supported on something. And then either keep the left foot right where it is, bring it closer to the knee, to the right knee. You might cross it over the right knee. You might even, if the right knee is on the floor, you might walk that foot close to the right hip and try to stack the knees on top of each other. It doesn't matter where you are because we're going to take a twist. So hold on to the right knee with the hold on to the left knee with the right hand. Bring the left hand behind you. As you inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, twist towards the left. Try to keep the belly soft. And as you press the left hip forwards, can you let the shoulders spin back? Maybe you look over the left shoulder, maybe left ear towards the left shoulder if you're looking for a little neck stretch. Let your exhale be deep and complete. And then inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, unwind the shoulders. Let's switch sides. Extend the left leg, extend the right leg. And then tuck the left foot close to the right hip underneath. You can keep the right foot on the right side of the knee. You can cross to the left side of the knee. Sometimes it's nice to cross because then you get a little bit of a lever here that you can press into. Maybe you stack the knees on top of each other. Sides will be different. Hold on to the knee with the opposite hand, left hand. Right hand behind you, lengthen through the spine. And exhale to twist. Gentle pull with the left hand. Gentle push with the right hand. Soften the belly. Press the right hip forwards. And turn the shoulders with every exhale. Maybe look over the right shoulder, maybe right ear to right shoulder. Slow down your breath. Notice that space at the bottom of the exhale. And on your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, unwind. Okay, it's almost time for Shavasana. So if there are any final shapes you want to take before, maybe you're ready for a long Shavasana. Maybe you want to set up your props for Shavasana. Maybe you're in the mood for a bridge pose or something on your back. For the next minute, keep your breath long, slow, and deep. Feel free to add some layers, some socks or a sweater. Eventually make your way onto your back. You might cover the eyes. Take any adjustments to make yourself feel more comfortable. If you're still working on something, feel free to continue. You've got plenty of time. I'll offer a longer Shavasana today, a full 5 minutes. So if you'd like to continue moving, a 2-minute Shavasana is fine as well. But in the spirit of winter, of being in the depths of winter, in the spirit of a long exhale and that hold at the end, can you allow yourself to rest in Shavasana? I have a teacher who says a well-deserved Shavasana, but I tend to think that we don't have to earn rest. So here, allow yourself to rest for resting's sake. Soften the jaw, the muscles of the face. Become heavy. Let go of any control over the mind, over the breath, over the body. Let everything just wander. Relax, release, and let go. Shavasana. Begin to deepen the breath. Invite some small movements into the fingers and toes. Allow that movement to grow. Eventually, maybe roll onto your right side or pull the knees into the chest or stretch the arms and legs, something that feels good. Make your way up to a comfortable seat when you feel ready. As always, you can sit on the floor in any position. You could sit in a chair. You could remain on your back. Keep the face in Shavasana for one more moment. Thank yourself for showing up. Thank your body for working for you. Gratitude for the practice, its lineage, all the benefits it brings. We'll close with 3 breaths. When you're ready, let your exhale be deep and complete. Then inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale nose. Exhale, let it go. Thank you for coming. I'll see you all soon. I will be